Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Craig Burrell, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Commander Peter Barnes. We warmly welcome Wing Commander Michael Garside, Australian War Memorial Air Force Fellow, and Lance Halverson, representing the Air Force Association. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem.
Australians, let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Please be seated if you can do so. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the hearts of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Flight Sergeant Bruce Albert Atkinson. Bruce Atkinson was born on the 17th of May 1920 in the Sydney suburb of Newtown, the son of Alfred and Louisa Atkinson. He grew up in South Sydney, attended Hurstville Junior Technical College and then Ultimo Technical Trade School while he worked as a trainee linesman for the Sydney County Council. On the 8th of January 1943, he married Thelma Bridge. The couple lived together in Hurstville, not too far from Atkinson's parents in Kogarah. Bruce Atkinson enlisted in the Royal Australian Air Force on the 14th of July 1943. After early training at Bradford Field Park in Sydney and then Ascot Vale in Melbourne, on the 27th of September, he embarked for Canada, travelling via San Francisco. In Halifax, an Atlantic Ocean port in eastern Canada, Atkinson attended Bombing and Gunnery School and Wireless Air Gunner School. As part of the Empire Air Training Scheme, he was one of almost 27,500 RAF pilots, navigators, wireless operators, gunners and engineers who, throughout the course of the war, joined Royal Air Force squadrons or Australian squadrons based in Britain. After earning his wireless operator's badge and air gunner's badge, Atkinson left Canada in early August 1944, arriving in the United Kingdom shortly afterwards. In October, he was posted to No. 29 Operational Training Unit, located at RAF Bruntingthorpe, which trained night bomber crews using twin-engined Vickers Wellington bombers. In the early hours of the 17th of January 1945, Atkinson was a crew member of a Wellington that took off from RAF Bruntingthorpe on a night cross-country exercise. At 7:30 a.m, after the aircraft was given instructions to land, it crashed in a field near the airfield at Bruntingthorpe. Later examination on the wreckage indicated that the starboard engine had failed, and it was thought that the crash was due to the aircraft's inability to maintain height with only one engine. All crew members were killed. Their names were Flight Sergeant Bruce Duval, Flight Sergeant Edward Hodson, Flight Sergeant Roy O'Reilly, Flight Sergeant Roderick Quinn, Flight Sergeant Robert White, and Flight Sergeant Bruce Atkinson, who was 24 years old and was survived by his wife and a son that he had not seen. Atkinson's funeral took place at noon on the 22nd of January at Oxford Botley Cemetery, where his remains lie today, under the inscription chosen by his grieving family. His sun went down while it was yet morn. His name is listed on the roll of honour to my left, among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. A photograph of his headstone is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flight Sergeant Bruce Albert Atkinson, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozieres or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director and staff, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. We particularly appreciate your visit despite the challenges posed by COVID and wish you all a very pleasant evening.